Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to video tutorial number 1. This is for the Station X Google Android TV stick. Again, this is not for the Amazon Fire Stick, and thank you for your purchase of this stick. As we can see here, this is going to be the actual screen you will see once the Google Android stick loads up for the first time. You will have you'll see the Google search bar up top, and you'll see a little button down here that I've highlighted in white, which is going to bring us into the rest of the stick. Okay, it is very important right now. You should take a look and see, take a look at your remote that you received with your purchase. Okay, there are two kinds of remotes that we actually do offer and we do sell. They both work equally as well. If this is an earlier version, then you may have received what's called a Air Mouse remote, which will not have a keyboard on the remote itself, which you don't really need. But you may also have received the remote, since we change things around a little bit. We do change things all the time. You may have received a remote that will have a keyboard with it on the actual remote. Okay, so take a look at that and note that. Also remember and keep in mind, depending on the remote that you have, you will have to, before you even begin, you're going to have to put the USB dongle or the USB receiver into the back of the stick itself using the USB port on the back of the stick to get the remote to pair and to get it to function. Okay, once that USB receiver is plugged into the back of the stick itself and the stick is plugged in, then your remote will be working. As we can see here, I'm able to go up and down, and I can highlight this little circle here with the squares. And if for any reason you're having a problem pairing the remote, what we normally do is just hold down one of the buttons and let the green light on the top of it, or whatever light is on there, flicker a couple times, and usually within a couple of seconds these remotes are paired and there's no problem. Okay, but it's very important that you take a look at whether you have a keyboard remote or whether you have a regular Air Mouse remote without a keyboard. Okay, because what I'm going to give you right now are the instructions for if you have a remote that does not have the keyboard, that just has the Air Mouse itself and the regular functional buttons, then we're going to have to take an additional step. Okay, if we don't, then we can just go right to connecting the internet. All right, so let's do this. So right now we're in this screen. This is the beginning screen we come to. We're going to scroll down and we're going to click on the white circle with the squares inside and click OK. All right, and now this brings us into, we have two screens here, apps and widgets. All right, now if we do not have a remote with the keyboard on it, let's take a look at something. Okay, because the first thing we have to do to start to get this to work is we have to connect the internet. All right, before we even get into coding and get everything else going. So let's go to settings, scroll down here to settings, let's go to Wi-Fi, and the remote that I'm using right now does not have a keyboard. Okay, so this is what you're going to see if you don't have a keyboard on the remote itself. All right, we're going to click into Wi-Fi. Okay, this is my Wi-Fi network. All right, now I'm going to click into this. Now without the keyboard on the remote, I don't have any way right now of typing anything in here for password, so we can't even get past this step. If you do, however, have the remote with the keyboard, all you have to do at this point is type in your password to your network and it will connect and you're good to go. Okay, but if you don't, like I don't here, this is what we have to do. Okay, we're going to back out. All right, and we're going to go down to language and input, and that's in settings. Okay, and we're going to come down here and we're going to click on now all of these. Now it's going to say physical keyboard. You see physical keyboard default. What we're going to do first is we're going to change everything to Android keyboard. Okay, so right now we see current keyboard is already on Android keyboard. That's Android keyboard. We set it to English. If you want a different language, you could switch it to that too, but most of the time it'll be in English. But but they do have every other language available depending on what you feel like you would like to use. All right. In this case, we're going to come down to this physical keyboard, and we're going to go to Setup Keyboard Layouts. All right. And we're going to go in again. I'm just going to assume that you want to speak English. We're going to go to English USA Android Keyboard. All right. We check that. Now that's set. Now we back out, and now we go to Current Keyboard. All right. Now you can see here that where it says Hardware Input, Show Input Method, this is okay. You see, if you saw that little circle, it was to a different position before. When you clicked on that, when we click on that, it moves it forward. All right, that's what we have to do. Okay, what that is essentially doing is it is turning on the digital keyboard now that we can use without having the keyboard on the remote. Okay, and again, this is a step you only have to take if you don't have the keyboard on the physical remote itself. All right, so we'll back out. Now everything's set up correctly. Now we'll go back to Wi-Fi. Now we'll go back into our network. Now when we click the OK button, as you can see, it has now brought up a digital Android keyboard, which is what we want. All right, so that step is imperative, otherwise you will not be able to have a keyboard here to use, and you won't be able to set up the internet to start. Okay, and that's that. So I'm not going to actually finish here setting it up, but you see what we have to do. All right, so we take the keyboard step first, then we back out. Inside settings, we go to Wi-Fi, we put in our password. We would then click connect. Once we're done, once we're actually done with this, we would be done. We would backspace, click connect, and we would connect, and that would connect to the internet. Once that happens, then we would be able to go on to the next step, which is the next tutorial video, which is setting up Kodi. Okay, so let's move on to that video now, and let's go. Thanks.